Hello, hi, and welcome back everyone to my channel. My name is Prem Kumar, a chartered accountant and working in UK for last 5 years. In this video today, I'll be talking about income growth, career progression, and how does it look like in 5 year period, especially if you're accountant or auditor and belong to the fields like chartered accountancy, ACCA, CPA. So what does it even look like? How income increases year on year? I'll be talking about general salaries, my own salary, as well as how growth looks like and what you can expect in the 5 years. I spent my 5 years in UK, so definitely giving you more insights of the process along with the whole journey I have been through. So first step of the process, that when you join the UK as an auditor, as an accountant, you will probably be joining the firms as an assistant manager or equivalent senior in different firms. Now the position typically firms hire from abroad is AM2. Basically, there are three AM levels: AM1, AM2, AM3. Typical position is AM2, whereby firms hire from abroad, and especially if you have good articleship experience, typically in Big Four is preferred, and some post qualification experience like 1 year. Again, Big Four preferred, then you have a very good chance to come in UK's top 20 accounting firms as assistant manager, and most of the firms do provide sponsorships. All of these firms offer different salaries for different locations. Like London has higher salaries, other cities have lower salaries depending on the cost of living, and salaries also differ by firm as well. Some firms pay more, some pay less. For example, Deloitte pays less, some mid-tier firms pay higher as well. So on average, if I tell you the salary of assistant manager that you should be expecting when you arrive in London, then the average range of assistant manager audit and assurance is typically from 45,000 to 55,000 pounds per year, with an average salary being 49,000 pounds. When I joined firm in 2019, it was 45,000 pounds for me when I joined that, but it has increased in the last few years, and you should be expecting a range of like 49, 50,000 pounds if you are starting in UK. Again, also differs by firms as well. So some firms may pay higher, some pay less, but it's an average amount. Also remember, in audit and assurance salaries are typically higher than audit by a few thousands. For example, if you take EY as an example, EY UK has a FAS department, is an audit practice as well. So FAS department has a bit of higher salaries than audit at all levels, even assistant managers. So you should expect a little more on that side. But typically the range is this one. These are pre-tax salaries. And if I think of after tax for 49,000 pounds, this is typically 2,900 plus something that you get as a net number. And if you have the pensions contribution, you would be deducting that as well. So you're looking at like 2,700, 2,800 typically as a net income per month. Typically as assistant manager, you started at 45,000, 50,000 pounds. Now what next? How you move forward, right? Different firms have different processes. Like Deloitte has different, EY has different, all 20 top firms have different process, but typically it takes 2 to 3 years for somebody to become a manager. After AM2, there's an AM3 grade and there's a manager grade. Again, different firms have different criteria, but typically 2 to 3 years are required to be a manager. When you are AM and you move to AM3 grade level, it's typically few thousand pounds increment given to you, which doesn't really translate much when you have net of tax impact. But when you reach the manager level, again 2 or 3 years, then your salary has a decent increase. In my case, when I become AM3 from AM2, my salary was just increased by 5,000 pounds on gross basis. And if you take taxation out, it's probably 3,000 pounds, not much. So that's the impact I got from AM2 to AM3. Now talking about managership is definitely a big milestone in your career, and you definitely get a decent increase when you become a manager. The salaries of manager are typically good as against assistant manager. An average salary for manager is 61,000 pounds, but it does vary from 56,000 to 68,000 as well. So there's a wide range of manager salaries. First year manager typically gets like 60,000 pounds. I was at somewhere near as well, so it's typically standard salary. But again, some firms, like some other firms, actually pay higher than bigger firms. Also, manager grade is the grade where you actually can afford to have family here, and manager level salary is actually sufficient for you to have a family in United Kingdom, and you can have decent level of saving if you're a manager. Another good thing in some firms is that when you become manager from assistant manager level, firms typically pay a decent bonus of 15 to 20,000 pounds. There are firms who give that level of bonus to assistant managers who become managers just because they want people to stick through. They don't want people to lose, and they give the clauses that if you leave next 12 months or 2 years, you'll be reimbursed back all the money. But for you, you get a very, very handsome level of bonus when you start as a manager in some firms, and 20,000 before tax is quite a decent amount. Onwards from manager to senior manager, that's again a big process. Typically takes 2 3 or maybe 4 years. 3 years is more common from manager to become a senior manager, and your salaries increase all those 2 3 years by a couple of thousands each year. But for a senior manager, the average salary ranges from like 77,000 to around 90,000, with an average salary is like 82,000 pounds per year. So if you think from 60 to 82, it's not a major jump because there'll be increments each year. But again, in UK, you don't see a fast progression in salaries over time, because 80,000 is also considered a very, very good salary if you think of a national average salary being 35,000. So you have a very, very decent salary in UK for your cost of living, for your living lifestyle. Some firms also pay 85, 90,000 for senior managers. I know personally I got some offers in past. So 90,000 as well you can get in different firms. So it's a really decent salary. Other thing to highlight is you also get benefits allowance as well at each grade. All firms have different sorts of scheme. For example, Deloitte has got benefits allowance for you at each level. For manager level, for senior manager level, it costs a couple of thousands as well. So you add that on your salary. Then firms contribute to your pension as well, which is like 4 to 8% or maybe 10% of some firms. So that's an additional benefit as well. So you're looking at around 95 100,000 pounds if you think of a senior manager. And if you achieve the journey in 5 years, you should be looking at the benchmark of 100,000 pounds as a senior manager working in one of the top firms of the UK. So to conclude, yes, overall 100,000 pounds is a reality in 5 years. If you stick around in the firms, it's a reality. If you don't stick around in the firms and move to industry, it gets reality much earlier in the process. You may have 100,000 pounds probably after 2 or 3 years rather than sticking in the firms, but that's different work stream, and that's a whole different type of job. But even if you're in firms, 100,000 pounds is a reality, and you can achieve that in 5 years. Hope this gives some perspective to people who want to come to UK and want to think of what lifestyle can be and how they can save and what level of income and progression can be out there. So definitely UK is a great country. The firms are quite good here. The work life is great, and the money involved is okay. It's not too much as I always say in my videos, but it's a decent money. Hopefully this helps. Thank you so much for watching.